they ain't tell y'all? You tuning into the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradham and Emery in the morning, y'all. LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all paying Ziffy. I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing. Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SB, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Brandon Emery in the morning. Justin Emery right here. And we got big homie on the line. He's returning. Marques Bradham. What up, man?
Yes, sir. Good to be back.
You got Red October fever like I do?
Oh, my gosh, man. This is just you can't help but watch and just be nostalgic back to that glory days of that. For me, I'm going to stretch out a little bit. I know the 07 to 11 was when they were really successful, but things really started to heat up around 04, 05.
I agree.
When they moved into Citizens Bank Park.
Mm-hmm.
That's where things really heated up, and it became fun. I don't know that this team is going to the playoffs, but this is fun, and this will be fun this year. I do think that, you know, when you get off to a start like this, it bodes well for you getting into the playoffs. And at games like, you know, obviously you sweep the Braves over the weekend, which is great, obviously. But yesterday is a game I'm looking at more as that's the type of games you look at a team and say, this team might have something. Because you're playing the Mets. The Mets didn't play over the weekend. They're bringing their ace out. Everything is set up. You have your number 4 starter on mound, Matt Moore. Everything is set up for the Mets to come out here and just demolish it.
Mm-hmm.
Phillies, they're able to hang around. You know, you don't score against DeGrom, but you know you only give up 2 runs. You got Joe Girardi made a great decision, which the Mets manager did not. He pulled Matt Moore at the right time. Things were starting to get weird, so he got him out of there. Bullpen holds you down. Then you get to the 8th inning. Things start to get weird, you know. And then Alec Bohm puts a ball in play. Routine play looks like, and all of a sudden, 2 runs scored. Now you're in the lead, and you're watching things like that happen. And you're like, okay, this is kind of reminding me of the Magic. Remember the Citizens Bank Park Magic?
Oh, yeah.
Where they were, like, you looked at that team, they were never out of a game. It didn't matter. I remember a game, I'm going to say maybe 10. It was towards the end of the run. They're playing the Dodgers. And they're down like 8-0 in the 5th. 8-9-0, something like that. And this is typical of this team. This happened a lot throughout that run where they just catch fire, and all of a sudden you win a game like that where you shouldn't have won at all. And it happened frequently down there where you saw things, especially late innings, that you were like, oh, this team, okay. This might be a night that this team is, but you just learned that never give up on this team. That's how it felt last night. And, you know, over the weekend, you know, the Braves are the standard right now. You can't take that away from them. They won a division last year. And you go in, you sweep them. Sweep them and look really, you know, good doing it. And, you know, we'll let you jump in here real quick, but and the scary thing is you're beating them in ways that you're not really, as a team that looked like at the beginning set up to beat them. They're beating teams with pitching and bullpen. This offense hasn't even gotten started yet.
No.
And this offense is the best part of the team. I mean, this offense is, you know, top to bottom is stacked. And you're 4-0, and Bryce Harper has not hit a ball out of the yard yet.
Yeah. I mean, everything you're saying is 100% spot on. You can't get off to you can't get to the top of the standings early in the season without getting off to a fast start. It's really hard to stay in first place all season long. But if you come out of the gate hot, it's a much better foundation than having to play catch up all year. So you can hit your little rough patches here and there across the span of 162 games if you come out of the gate 4-0 against four division opponents. Right.
And Luis Rojas out here pulling a Gabe Kapler.
Yeah.
Yanking your starter way. I don't like.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask you because that's what a lot of feedback that I've heard in regards to yesterday's game is that it wasn't so much that the Phillies won as much as it was the Mets lost the game. Where do you feel? Where do you sit on that?
You got to listen. At the end, when it comes to baseball, even if a team is handing you a game, baseball is a different type of sport where, listen, if the bats aren't working or you're not going to rally, that's it. There's not really much you can do. However, I don't know how. I don't understand these new age baseball people who are just complicating something that's not complicated. Baseball is, I would venture to say, the simplest sport to manage or coach. I don't think it's complicated at all. It's like I go back to the World Series last year and the Blake Snell incident. Why would you in any way see a guy that's cooking, like absolutely cooking, just rolling? Why in the world would you take him out of the game? Why?
I've been saying for 6 months. That the most hated person in Tampa Bay is the manager of the Rays. They almost had the pandemic sweep.
Yeah. Blake Snell was rolling on a river, Tina Turner style, rolling. And then last night, same thing. And then I go back to Gabe Kapler's debut a couple years ago with Nola, where Nola's rolling. And Freddie Freeman even said, it was actually funny. Tom McCarthy actually threw a little shade at Gabe Kapler in the opener. I don't know if you heard that.
I did not.
He made reference to that because Nola's pitching pretty well. It's about the fifth inning, something like that. And Tom McCarthy said, "Hey, you think I think we're pretty safe to say that we're not going to get an incident that happened a couple years ago and Nola being ranked prematurely." And then him, Kruk, and Davis start going back and forth. Not back and forth. It was just fourth, just going in on Gabe Kapler and how stupid it was to pull Aaron Nola in sixth inning. And Freddie Freeman actually said, after that game, he was talking to Kruk. I think it was a batting practice next day. He said, thank God they pulled Nola out because we had no answer for him.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do that, and it especially in baseball, where you pull a guy who just has your number. He's just absolutely killing you, and you pull him out, and it's like a seventh. It's like, all right, boys, we got 9 outs. Let's go. He's out of the game. Let's do this thing. And sometimes you give a team what you basically did is you gave the Phillies momentum. They were done. They were done. At least give DeGrom. I would at least give him one more inning. He should at least go into the eighth, then bring a closer in ninth, and then you shut it down. But I didn't understand that move at all. And it's happening a lot in baseball where these guys are. I don't want to get in a whole analytics thing because analytics do have a place in baseball, but I think sometimes people go overboard with the analytics. If that makes sense.
The only reason why I would understand it right now is because it is it's the first start of the season. You don't want to lose your horse because he's not stretched out yet in the first time around the rotation. So,
and that's why I go to him, and I say, "Hey, can you give me 3 more outs? Well, how are you feeling?" I mean, you think that conversation happened?
I do.
Because these guys, guys are so okay, this is I am doing this, and baseball is a sport of feel. That's what Charlie Manuel was so good at. He was good at feel. You go back to 2008 when the Matt Stairs situation. He said, "Listen, I felt that Matt Stairs could handle that Jonathan Broxton fastball, so I put him out there." And we were kind of confused. We were okay, Matt Stairs coming up, all right, pinch hitter, all right. But baseball is a sport of feel. You got to feel the game and feel the momentum, feel things are going. And I don't think you can make decisions 3-4 innings ahead of time. You know?
Oh, for sure, not at all. Um, I would like to think that the conversation happened, but it's the Mets, so you never know what you're going to get out of that.
Mets are gonna Met.
Mets are going to Met. But I'm feeling Red October.
Me too.
And like you said, we haven't even seen the meat of this team yet, which is the lineup. We haven't even seen the raking start. Now, like Charlie said, hitting season comes around June.
Hitting season. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It was funny you brought that. I was just gonna bring that up. Yep.
So we got a little bit of time to wait until hitting season. But one of the oldest phrases in baseball: just put the ball in play.
Yep.
And that's what won the game for you yesterday. Just put the ball in play. You never know what happens.
Absolutely. And like we still, I mean, obviously it's very early on, but we're gonna have 3 times this season where number 3 is gonna get white hot.
Yeah.
You're gonna have 3 times this season where for a 2-week stretch, Bryce Harper hits like 8 home runs.
Yep. He's good for it every year.
Yeah. Like so, you got that 6 weeks you're gonna have. I like Reese in the 2-hole. I think Joe Girardi is kind of coming to conclusions like, listen, we're gonna put him here. He likes to walk. He likes to take pitches. That can work here. It doesn't work in a cleanup spot because the cleanup spot you need a guy who's just swinging.
Right.
I don't know about Real Muto as a cleanup hitter. Like, obviously love JT, but I see JT more of a 5-6 guy. Maybe Alec Boehm eventually becomes a cleanup hitter. Who knows? I mean, I'm excited about him. By the way, how much does he look like Jason Worth?
Oh, so much. Identical.
Like I look at him and I just see Worth, and he's wearing 28, which is interesting.
I also think he has a little bit of Evan from 4th and John in him as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. So maybe he eventually becomes your 4 hitter. He might actually. I mean,
I said the other day. I said the other day on the show that I thought Boehm is your stereotypical number 4 hitter. Like when you saw Ryan Howard, when you saw Big Papi, when you saw who was it? The Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. When you saw those guys, you knew, all right, that's a number 4 hole hitter. It's just plug and play. You knew that. I feel the same way when I see Boehm. To me, I look at him and I see he is a 4 hole hitter. That's just what it is.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is what I was about to get into with him. Is he's a guy? Larry Bowa was talking about him, and Larry Bowa said he's unlike a lot of hitters today. Hitting has changed a lot, where guys don't really care too much about striking out anymore. It's something like for us. I remember growing up.
Oh yeah, you don't be on the K charts.
It was embarrassing.
Even worse was the backwards K.
Yeah.
You don't want the backwards K.
The frozen pizza.
You don't want that.
You don't want to have a DiGiorno staring at you.
No.
Yeah, no. The strikeout for us growing up was like you don't want to do the walk of shame back to the dugout, like head down with the bat in the hand. You don't want to do that. Not at all. These guys don't care as much about that today. They are much more. They don't really care. It's more about overall production. However, Alec Boehm's a throwback. He apparently hates striking out. Absolutely hates it. Despises it. So I look at a guy like that and the potential of Alec Boehm, what you may have in the next season or two, you might be flipping him and Harper and have Harper as your cleanup and him as your 3. That may actually happen. Then you move JT back to your 5.
I think JT belongs at 5.
Harper, Real Muto.
Yeah, I think JT belongs at 5.
Me too.
I think Harper, Boehm, and Real Muto. That needs to be 3, 4, 5 in my opinion.
I agree. That's your next 5 years.
Yes, I agree.
Now I want to get into the pitching a little bit.
Hold. First,
Okay.
let's hold that time out because we got a lot of Phillies to get to. We're gonna go to a quick break. On the other side, we'll get to J. Cohl. Got to hit the food scene, and then after J. Cohl, we'll do some more Phillies. Get our tinfoil hats on, and then have to pay homage to a legend who is not
Yes.
doing very well right now.
No,
So-
and we gotta talk about 2-5.
Yes. We will get to all of that on the other side. Real quick commercial break. Brown and Memory in the morning. Marcus Brown, I'm back. Justin Emery will be right back.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys today about my friends at Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream. USA Today selected Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream as the best ice cream parlor in Pennsylvania. Uncle Mike's is a family-owned and dedicated to the production of premium quality and gourmet ice cream and sorbet, made fresh daily on the premises using the highest quality ingredients available. Uncle Mike's features over 30 unique delicious flavors offered in scoops, sundaes, shakes, and special order ice cream cakes and pies. Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream is located at 537 York Road in Warminster and is open all year round. Visit Uncle Mike's and let their friendly staff serve you happiness one scoop at a time.
Hey, everybody. I want to tell you about Beef Jerky Outlet. 110 Lincoln Highway in Langhorne, right at the corner of Business Route 1 and Oxford Valley Road. Check them out online at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne. Use promo code BREMI for 10% off your orders. You can check out, they have all sorts of them. Everything you could think of beef jerky, they have. They have a ton of other stuff too. Spices, barbecue sauces, peanuts, all different kind of things. My personal favorite, the honey barbecue turkey jerky. Head up there. Sharon and Michael will take great care of you. Again, use promo code BREMI for 10% off your order at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys about my friends at Amy's Pizza. Amy has a plethora of pizzas for your munching pleasure, especially pizzas such as Hawaiian, margarita, and taco. Taco actually being my personal favorite. And also plenty more. If it's sandwiches you desire, they've got those too. Cheesesteaks, burgers, hoagies, even gyros. Amy's offers pickup and takeout options. Also, they're available on Grubhub. Amy's located at 332 York Road in the heart of Hatboro. You can call them today at 215-957-1000. Again, that's 215-957-1000.
Yeah, man. Welcome back, Brad Memory in the morning. Marcus Brown, Justin Emery.
Yo.
Glad to be back. And on the line with us right now, sponsored by, of course, the Beef Jerky Outlet out in Langhorne. 10% off using the code BREMI online. J. Cohl joins us. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
How's it going? Got the whole band
Good,
back
I'm
together?
I do. I'm sure do. I'm trying to recover from the terrible booking of the national championship game last night. Who came up with that crap? You'd be kidding me.
Listen, I gotta say this real quick to you. I think you might be proud of me here. So
Do you eat eggs?
I was on Twitter, I think it was yesterday. We're going to talk about some eggs for a second. You might be proud of me. You might be proud of me here. This is growth. So I saw a picture of your pork roll, egg, and cheese cheeseburger. And I got to tell you, man, it looked really good. I didn't go, oh, there's an egg on there. I looked at it, I was like, that looks like a tasty treat.
Well, I say this is I absolutely is, and I'm proud of you. There's eggs and things that we're going to have to sit you down in person at a bar and gently break to you. There are things you eat that there are eggs in, and, we're going to make sure you're in like a loving circle of, support. But I got some bad news coming up in 2021. I'm sorry, man. I feel like I got to be honest with you.
No, it's okay. And listen, here's the thing with me and eggs. I don't have a problem, like, if you use eggs as an ingredient in something.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't taste it. I don't want to taste. If I taste it, that's when if I taste it or see it, that's when it's a problem. But
that's exactly how Guy Fieri explains it, because that guy gets lit up all the time for not liking eggs. And he talks about it all the time. If eggs are in the dish, I don't care. I don't want you to bring me, a plate of sunny side up eggs and tell me, good, because I'm not eating them.
Correct. That's my stance. And actually, like, I was watching, obviously the Diners Drive-In Dives, watching that, and like I heard him say that, and like spoke to my heart, because we are a rare breed of people who don't eat eggs. Like, that's not a thing.
Well, especially now in the age of the gram, almost everything's got to be topped with an egg, food-wise, right? I mean, some things work. Like, the hangover burger is what that used to be called. You know what I mean? And, you throw the egg on it, and it kind of makes sense, right? When I see people dropping, like, sunny side eggs on, like, a roast pork sandwich, I'm like, what are you doing?
Too much.
You know what I mean? Now you're just like, we live in a society now, and I hate to say this, and I don't want to be preachy, but it bleeds into food and the food felony we're going to talk about. It used to be people had common sense about stuff, right? And like the craziest stuff was against the law. Now, if something isn't specifically attached to a penalty, people do it. Melting peeps on pizza. You know what I mean?
Right,
well, they're not going to throw me in jail, so I'll do it. Whoa, hold on. No. There's no reason for that.
Right.
There's never a reason for that. I recently I talked about it on Twitter, and people can follow me and see, the adventures that are going to be coming from the grill. I got myself a Blackstone griddle, right? A couple of the guys I know from competition barbecue teams say they're a lot of fun. They're not grills. They're not smokers. They're essentially, if anyone's in the restaurant business listening to this, it's essentially an outdoor flat top.
Okay.
It's a nice big sheet of metal that you can do things like cheesesteaks and, put together those diner breakfasts and stuff like that pretty quickly. They're not crazy expensive, I don't think. And they're super versatile. So, of course, I take the dive into YouTube and I see the first few channels I see people doing really cool stuff. Quesadillas, taquitos. Oh, you know what I mean? Maybe this would be cool. Then I start going a little bit further, and I see people trying to do like some kind of cake rolled up cannoli thing. And I'm like, you guys wasted no time. These home griddles are relatively new. These people wasted no time in ruining that too.
You know what?
I'm going to throw flat lasagna noodles on here. Wait, no. What are you doing?
If people are given the chance, they will ruin anything. That's what I've learned in my life.
You know what would be? You know what would be so much fun is if you got the chance to sit down and watch some of these food bastardization YouTube videos with J. Cohl, and I could do like live commentary. It's like when you're sitting down with a
reaction video.
Yeah, it's like when Jaws puts out the things on Twitter of him sitting down watching tape. I want to see.
Yeah,
I want to see him looking through these YouTube videos and just having meltdowns at these people.
I think
in about a week or so. I figure in about a week or so I'll get my vaccine shot.
Okay.
And then what I'll do is we'll figure it out. We'll discuss it, off air, of course. But we'll figure out a day where I'll come into the studio, sit down, and we'll watch like the 5 most heinous things on YouTube.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we'll just throw them out there. Like the Twinkie taquito.
So I
because some of the things I see, my own wife looks. My wife sees me looking at my phone, and she's like, "Are you watching a car crash on 295?" And I'm like, "No, worse. I'm watching someone stuff like a pork loin with devil dogs." And she's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is where we are now. There's no essential food police, which is why I'm glad we called out. When we get to our food felony, unfortunately, I'm going to have to call out someone near and dear to our heart. It's a pro wrestler, but
no.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Wait, before we go there, I got to ask you something because I've had a revelation over the past 2 weeks, and Justin, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this, so I'm going to reveal this revelation right now for all of us. About 2 weeks ago was Cheesesteak Day, National Cheesesteak Day.
Yes.
And I was, going through the timeline, as usual, and I kept seeing this place pop up, Curly's Creations, out in Levittown. I never heard of it before, but I saw it multiple times. One guy actually said something ridiculous like, I ordered cheesesteak on Wednesday, pick up on Friday. Another guy did a ranking and had Curly's in his top 5. Now, I am, to give you a little background on me, I grew up in North Philly. So I am a Max stan. Like, Max cheesesteak is my spot. I was,
Max
I was there.
It's a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I was there when it first, when it came around like 94, 95. So I was like a teenager. And I remember walking up there, getting my cheesesteak. And that place is near and dear. So I will go to war that Max is the best cheesesteak in my opinion. However, after all of this, I was like, okay, Levittown is like about a half hour from me. I'm going to take a ride. So first of all, I call in to this place. And it took me a little bit to get through. Like it took me probably a good 20 minutes to get through. I finally get through. and it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. And I was like, I want to place an order. She's like, yeah, that's totally fine, but you can't pick up till 8:00 at night. I was like,
Whoa.
wait, what?
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was like, what? And like, it took me by surprise, but I was like, you know what? If this is the wait time, I have to do this. I have to see it through. So I placed my order, and I tell Justin all the time, I am a double meat guy.
Double meat?
Because
Double
I do
cheese.
not want to run the risk of having not enough meat in my sandwich. So when
You'd rather have too much than too little.
Exactly. So I said to her, I'm like, I ordered cheesesteak. I was like, double meat. And she's like, hold on there, big fella. Slow down.
Yeah.
We do a pound of meat on our cheesesteaks. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
good to know. All right, we're good. Fine. So I show up, pick up this thing, right? Bring it back to the house. First of all, I unwrap the wrapper. It looks impressive. And like, you know how it is. Like when you have you can already tell which way you're gonna go. Like I was like, I love Max's so much. I was like, I almost didn't want to take a bite of it because I was like, I already feel like this might sway me a little bit. So I'm staring at it and I'm getting upset. I'm like, I don't even want to bite you. And Amber, who like I've turned her into a Max fan because I've gone out there and got it for her before. She loves Max just like I do. She takes her first bite and she just looks at me. And I can see in her eyes. I'm like, I know what you're getting ready to say. Just please don't say it. Please let me allow me to have this moment, please. So I take a bite. First of all, the bread is insane. Like, you know how sometimes, and Max has gotten complaints of being a little greasy, which, okay, I agree. I get it. But
see, most of the times I've been to Max's, I'm fine with that because I need that grease to soak up alcohol anyway.
Completely agree. And Max's rolls are a little more thin, where this bread was like hearty bread. Now, if you're going to give me the hearty bread, you got to have the meat to match the bread. Everything needs to be perfectly. So it did. So I take a bite of this, and I just immediately just put my head down, like, Max's, I love you, but this is different. This is different. This is just a different level. And the meat, like sometimes you'll get a cheesesteak, and like the meat is like not seasoned properly. You know what I mean? Like there's no real seasoning on the meat. It's just there. Not the case here. Again, not the case. Like everything about this cheesesteak, and like I try to play coy with Amber. She's like, "What do you think?" She's waiting for me to give my opinion. I'm like, "Yeah, we need to go back tomorrow. I need to do more research." So I ended up going back the next day, and then the next day I got their bacon cheeseburger mac and cheese, which was in like I have no words. But then I get cheesesteak again. And I'm like, yeah, this is in my opinion the best cheesesteak I've had in this area. So here's my question to you. I don't know. I don't know if you know this, but can you please tell me where this place even came from?
Here's the deal. If we're going to talk about Curly's, full disclosure, a buddy of mine does their social media work for them, Jeff Belonger.
Okay.
I've known him for years. We've hung out. And the guy who owns Curly's, a guy named Mike Sarin, he's like a lifelong cheesesteak fan, but he was very much dialed into, right now cheesesteaks are like at the cutting edge of the national foodie wave. I mean, it's always been a big deal here, but right now cheesesteaks are everywhere. We've got the Barstool guy doing them. Everybody's doing them. Guy Fieri is putting together some kind of cheesesteak thing. He was over at, I think, Angelo's on 9th in the Italian market. They've pushed cheesesteaks to like the new thing, right? The next big thing. Right. Here's the deal. This guy, Michael Sharon, came along at the right moment. He was dialed into a couple of the top cheesesteak Facebook groups. And we talked about these before. They're like the double-edged sword, right? Yeah. They're both the angel and the demon. He spent hours blowing through Cheesesteak Gurus, which is a fairly local group, and Philadelphia Cheesesteak Tour, which Jeff Belonger and a few other guys I know take care of, and Jim Pappas. This is a guy, you've probably seen him on local news. He's had like 500-600 cheesesteaks the last couple of years. Like he tries them everywhere. He has a ranking system. The consensus of all these guys is that we're looking for certain things in the cheesesteak, right? I got to have enough meat, I got to have enough cheese, and the bread has to be good. This guy who owns Curly took that literally, flipped this menu to what you see now. Once upon a time, Curly's was just like a good local joint. This guy figured if I can tap into, this is thousands of people in these groups. You know, we're not talking about 14, 15 people sitting at a gas station talking about whatever. This is thousands of people representing potential customers. He starts putting out these cheesesteaks, which are packed to the gills with meat.
Yeah.
Tons of cheese. He upgrades all the ingredients, and then he invites these people in. He said, come try my cheesesteak. You don't like it, it's on me.
This is a smart man.
He hasn't had to pay anybody for a cheesesteak. You know what I mean? He hasn't picked up any tabs. People are happy to pay for that. Yeah. I had a buddy of mine who lives out past Levittown bring me one. Now, I give him the fact that from Levittown to where I live in Mount Laurel, that's got to be close to an hour. With traffic, you stop a while for coffee, whatever. It's like an hour, right?
Right.
So that cheesesteak is sitting in his truck for an hour. Pop it in the oven for like 5-10 minutes. You know, full disclosure, I have a convection oven at my house. So, you know, it's a little bit better than the average person. Anyway, this cheesesteak comes out, and it was amazing. Amazing for an hour-old cheesesteak. It was amazing. Now, I've talked about this before. I've done cheesesteak rankings on Talking with Tony Luke. I've done them on Dining on the Dime. I've done them on Two Chicks. People know who listen to me. My favorite cheesesteak, hands down, is the Big Daddy from Carmen's at Belmar. And that's because I kind of know where they get their meat and their cheese from. Yeah. The Del Bono's people own Carmen's now. So that's fresh bread in there 2 times a day, right? They get their meat from Rosselli's, which is the same place I get my meat from. And also Tony Luke's. They ship all the meat to Tony Luke's. When I got this Curly's, I thought to myself, if I had gotten this 5 minutes ago, I don't know if Carmen's would still be my favorite cheesesteak.
Yeah, I mean, I
really don't know. Like, if you brought them to me side by side, and I realize there's a big difference, Belmar, New Jersey, you know, like it would be very difficult to do, right? But if you had them in front of us, let's say we're in a bar judging a competition, right? And they drop them right in front of us, straight off the grill. I really don't know. And you're sort of in the same quandary with Max's. I love Max's. For a long time, Max's was my favorite cheesesteak in Philly. For a long time. Then we started doing these shows. And also the last couple of years, I think it bears mentioning, cheesesteaks have had 2, we'll call them growth periods, right? We had the original cheesesteak growth period way back in, we'll say, like the 70s, right? And it's Pat's and Geno's. And they're kind of going back and forth, right? In those days, now, full disclosure, I knew Joey Vento Jr. and I know Frank Oliveri. I always preferred the way Geno's did it. I liked the slab style of Geno's at the time, right? Then we get to like the 90s, and people start, you know, suddenly there's D'Alessandro's, there starts being up more home, and they start using better bread, better meat. We're in the 2000s. Tony Luke's decides to start moving to Vegas and Florida and wherever. So now you've got these people who are essentially turning cheesesteaks into what used to be your neighborhood sandwich. I'm just old enough to remember when your cheesesteak was basically whatever shaved meat a restaurant had left and some provolone.
Wow.
And thrown on a bread and, you know, maybe some fried onions. I mean, I'm an old, as I like to tell people. I remember when you didn't get those quality cheesesteaks. Now, the last, I'll say, 18 months, and really during the pandemic, they pushed it into a gear where you have Angelo's, which is run by a buddy of mine. His name is Danny Giampetro. He's married into the Sarcone's family. They bake their own bread. Sarcone's has some of the best bread in Philadelphia. He's shaving his own meat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To order. It's not like there's a pile of meat sitting on the grill. You order, it gets moved to the warm part of the grill. You know, everybody knows that story. Everybody, you know, I love going to gyms with friends and family, but gyms cuts their meat at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it sits on the grill, and then they don't cut it again until like 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
It gets moved around, and the sandwiches are delicious. I'm not bagging on gyms. I'm just saying they have a model that's very 1990s.
Right.
And when you move to a place like Curly's in 2021, you place your order. The first thing they do is they get their shaved meat out, which was shaved that morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Curly's is using Karanji Bakery rolls.
Okay.
Karanji is another one of these bakeries in Philly. I might be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. But Karanji is the same rolls they use at Mike's Barbecue for their brisket cheesesteaks.
Okay.
And they've decided to take cheesesteaks to another level. I mean, they're doing them with brisket. They're doing them with sirloin. I've had cheesesteaks that were done with Wagyu.
Also.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're doing cheesesteaks now with Wagyu beef, and you just didn't see that. I mean, there were places in the 80s that were legitimately still using Steakums. And I know that Steakums has a beloved following on social media, and every little kid had a Steakum. You put them on toast, you make a cheesesteak in your house.
Yes.
But there were places that were charging you like cheesesteak joint money for, American cheese or provolone or whatever, and Steakums. And I'm like, maybe not. Now we've gone the other way. I have friends of mine in these groups that complain, I really don't want to drop $18 for a cheesesteak. And I'm like, yeah, but see, here's the problem. I want the fresh baked bread. Yes. I want you to use better cheese, or better yet, I want you to hire somebody who makes their own whiz. Not Cheese Whiz, but a real Cooper cheese sauce, or Molly Malloy's. They have an American whiz, which is made by the chef there, a friend of mine named Bob Fisher. These are guys that grew up on cheesesteaks. Now they're working chefs. Now they own parts of restaurants or food trucks, and they're like, hey, let's get funky with these things.
All that came to a head in
2021.
No issue paying $19 for good cheesesteaks. None at all. But your analysis is spot on. And it's interesting you said about, 5 minutes earlier, you might have had to change your mind, because that's what happened to me the first night, is that Amber and I usually, we'll have a couple drinks, watch our shows, wherever, hang out, and then we'll usually eat a little bit later. So the first time I had it, I didn't eat it right away. I had it in the microwave.
Yeah, you probably do this thing where you sit it in the oven or the microwave or toaster oven, and you figure I'll heat it up when I'm going to eat. Yeah, I totally get that.
Exactly. So when I had it, I was like, this is really good, but I'm not. I got to do this again because I want to do it fresh. And the next night, I brought it home and just housed it. And I was just like, this is the winner. I'm sorry, this is amazing. So, but it's interesting about that because like I said, like you alluded to and talked about the involvement of a cheesesteak, and because I grew up in Pat's and Gino's gets a bad rap now, but back when you were talking about the 80s, stuff like that, that was the best cheesesteak. Now it's become more of a tourist attraction because these other places, especially in the 90s, when I kind of developed more, because listen, when you're a kid, you're basically shoving anything in your mouth your parents tell you to put in your mouth. Like in the 90s,
you just eat or you go hungry. That's the house I grew up in. Eat with fear or, don't eat. That's on you.
But your palate definitely, as you get older, increases. So Max's came along for me at a perfect time as a teenager when I was craving something better. And they came along at that time and gave me that satisfaction. But now, I'm all curled. Justin, listen, man, you need to get over there. I'm all curled up, bro.
I will be.
I need to get over there.
This whole time I was Googling how to get there and looking up directions. So
it's a simple drive. It's literally right up Route 1, Turnpike. Get off of the Route 1 exit. I'm sorry, Turnpike, Route 1, 213 down to Woodburn Road, right on Woodburn Road, right there. It looks like the place in Levittown looks like an old Checkers.
It's probably it's probably not too far away from the jerky outlet.
It's not. It's not at all.
No, it's not actually. I was just going to throw that in there. This isn't far from the jerky outlet at all. A buddy of mine wished he had stopped at the jerky outlet because he lives out that way, right? Yeah. So I sort of was like, oh, dude, if I knew you were coming from that direction, I would have told you to
bring me some. Yeah, but,
I would have told him, bring the SUV and load up, man. Don't swing by the two-seater. That's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to move on from Curly's in a second, but I want to bring up the precision of the staff at Curly's. First of all, you walk in, it looks like I said, like a Checkers that's been hollowed out. I walk in, they have the
that's a good analogy, actually.
Yeah, so I can see what's going on back there. And man, if the Eagles offense could be so smooth. Like, they were back there, we're talking 45 people spinning to the left, Euro stepping, guys on the meat. Like, it was fascinating to watch. Like, I was watching this like, whoa, these guys aren't playing. And like, it was I'm not gonna say the tight kitchen, but it was so many people back there, it made it tight. And they were all moving around, doing like different jobs, and it was incredible, man. I have nothing bad to say about my Cole's experience.
The deal is this, real quick. I told you before, the owner is real dialed into like the foodie scene. These Twitter groups, these Facebook groups that are talking about cheesesteaks. One of the things that he realized was Angelo's really exploded in 2019 into 2020, right? Action Bronson was down there. Other people were down there doing their shows. And his cheesesteaks are amazing. But, and I love Danny, and I've said this to his face, so I don't want people to think, like I'm running down a buddy on radio. I'm not. He was not prepared for his level of popularity. There were people showing up there, and he was already out of bread by 2 p.m. because he didn't think 100 people would show up at his front door. It was him and a couple guys, and he was still trying to run it like the old Sarcone's Deli. I don't know if you guys remember that down there, but it was basically just a couple old folks from the family making sandwiches with whatever bread didn't sell in the morning.
He got Oprah's favorite thing. I don't know if you Oprah, back when she's do her show, she used to do that thing once a year, Oprah's favorite things, and it was all of these like mom and pop type organizations, and like Oprah is Oprah. Like, Oprah is one of the biggest probably the biggest talk show in the history of mankind.
Yeah, she drives traffic. She drives traffic
to these little places like in Toledo, Ohio, and she drove up like people going there, and these people were not prepared for Oprah type traffic. So like, she put a lot of people ended up going out of business because of Oprah's favorite things.
Well, it's the same thing with Triple D. When Triple D,
the guy Fury does this.
Yeah, when places are on Triple D, he floods those places.
Yeah,
one of my favorite places of all time, I've literally been eating there for like 40 years on and off, is the Vincenttown Diner. My dad knew the current owner's dad. That's how far back this goes, right? Me and the current owner would sit out and like bounce the ball off the side of the diner when my dad would be in there with his dad. Yeah. Anyway, they decide, me and about 500 other people recommend the Vincenttown Diner, Vincenttown, New Jersey, to Triple D. Eventually, they showed up. Gary was there. They filmed the episode, whatever. It was really cool. The episode airs, and they warned him. The producer reached out to Jimmy, the current owner, and said, hey, look, your episode is going to air. Be prepared. And he thought, we'll be good. Anyway, his episode airs. He pulls into the diner at like 6 a.m, and he can't park his car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because if people who know the Vincenttown Diner, it's on the corner of 206 and Christ, I'm trying to think what the other road is. I don't think it's quite Route 38 that far out, but it's like super busy intersection. There's a Wawa at the other end, and he's used to be. Big crowds don't sweat him. When he can't park his car, he had to park at Wawa and run across 206 at like 6:30 in the morning. And there's a ton of people there, and they're basically taking selfies in front of the sign. And, they were nonstop that day until they closed at about 10:30 at night.
Wow.
Literally 16 or 17 hours. And then the rest of that week, Friday, Thursday, Friday, because I think Triple D's new episode airs on Wednesday, right? So Thursday and Friday, he got bum rushed. Saturday was a little bit slower, and he had more people. Sunday brunch is their biggest time. There were people waiting like 2.5 hours to get in to have brunch, to have this meatloaf that Fieri said was like one of the best he'd ever tried.
Yeah.
They had made like 600-700 pounds of meatloaf, and it's flying out the door. Now, I've talked about it on my show. Their meatloaf is delicious. Meatloaf is one of those things I love making. I love eating when it's done right from a diner. You know what I mean? I'm not interested in it from somewhere else, but if I go to a diner and it's dinner time, chances are I'm going to grab some meatloaf, mashed potatoes, gravy, whatever. They couldn't keep up with the demand. This went on this way for 5 weeks. Wow. He's hiring extra people. He's telling people that's worked for him for years, I got to cancel your vacation. And they were ticked off.
Yeah.
But he's like, like my wife and I drove by there one day and we looked and I didn't know what happened. My wife and I go over there periodically. This is before the pandemic. We shoot over there and we look and the parking lot's full. And I'm like, just come around the other side because it's a big L-shaped lot. So I'm like, the other lot will be empty. No, the other lot was also filled. People like in RVs had driven down from like upstate New York and Rhode Island. I could see the license plates. So we drove through the lot, we turned around, we went right back out. And I said to the owner, hey, look, I'm sorry, man. I'm not waiting 2.5 hours for meatloaf I've been eating for 40 years.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
And he understood. But that's sort of the Oprah deal, and that's the Guy Fieri deal when it comes to food. With Oprah, it's everything. Clothes, I don't care what it is. Oprah talks about a comic book store, they'd be empty tomorrow.
Yeah, it was these little like sometimes it'd be like these little trinkets and things like that. And these shops, they're just not built. Got like 5 people working there. Cousin Larry, like they're not built for Oprah traffic or Guy traffic.
No. And I know they mean well, and I know they do way more harm than good. But there are times where they've caused places to have to shut down.
Yeah.
Because they literally, there was a burger joint in Detroit that Chef Michael Simon talked about was his favorite. He loved going there. And he sort of helped them out a little bit. They were not doing so great for a while. So he helped them out with like GoFundMe or Indiegogo or something. He would support them. Well, finally, Fieri decides to put them on TV. He's like, oh, these are your friends? You like these guys? I'll help them out. So Fieri goes there. They have these great smash burgers. They have this and that. Like 14 days later, they're closed.
Right.
It was just a little tired old rundown place with an older couple that ran it and a few kind of, not to be mean, but some seniors that were kind of like waiting tables. And they weren't prepared for 200 foodies at their front door at 7 a.m.
Right. Right. I
mean, you know what I mean? You know,
it's
when
something
you get,
that people don't think about, you know, the other side of, you know, being a part of the restaurant business. Like
No, I mean, I hate to say it, it's just how it goes.
Now, at the top of the segment when you came on, you said that, you know, wrestling, you're a big wrestling fan. Anybody that follows you on social media can see that.
Put me in there too, Justin.
Well,
put me in there too.
I know you're a wrestling fan too, but when was never mind.
What were you about to say, Justin?
I was gonna say I know you're a wrestling fan. However,
I wrestle for Maryland Championship Wrestling. Don't do that to me.
I understand. I understand you're a wrestling fan. I understand you're a wrestling fan. But are you also qualified to give out food felonies, though?
No, I'm not.
Okay, there you go.
He's working on it, man.
Okay.
He's working on it. We're going to get deputy badges for all you guys.
I'll be honest. Listen, I want to toot my own horn for a second, but I think for a person that doesn't know much about food, I think I do a pretty good job talking about it.
Oh, for sure.
You absolutely do.
You absolutely do. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. But no, I can't do a food felony. You're right.
So, Pro Wrestler is about to be in your crosshairs. So
pro wrestler is about to step into the spotlight, or maybe I should say the lineup, and not in a good way. First of all, I got to get this out there real quick. Jack Evans is an amazing pro wrestler. He's wrestled in Mexico. He's wrestled in Japan. He currently wrestles for AEW. Him and his buddy are in a tag team, which if you're into pro wrestling, go find these guys. They're called the Hybrid 2. Just watch a match on YouTube. They're acrobatic. They're athletic. They're really entertaining on the mic. It's worth 10 or 15 minutes to just go and look at their matches, right? And they're really kind of well-regarded in AEW, man. These are like it's a newer promotion, and they're like a top team in there.
Yeah.
Jack Evans, I guess, fancies himself a little bit of a foodie. I mean, we'll put that in quotes. His wife likes to cook dishes for him. He puts them out there. Well, and I've seen a few things from Jack Evans before, and I let them slide, and that's the wrestling mark in me. Like, man, I really can't call out Jack Evans, man. He's an hybrid too. So I'll let certain things slide. He decides to tweet this picture of a lasagna. And when I say lasagna, it's in italics and quotes. That's like how not lasagna this is.
I didn't even know there was cheese on it when I first saw the picture.
No.
Oh, Justin, you've seen this?
I've seen this picture. Oh, it is.
Let me see if I pull up a picture.
Oh, it is all over Twitter. Just go to the timeline.
It is
everywhere.
Twitter. The guy is getting roasted. His Twitter handle is Jack Evans 711.
Okay.
And he's getting roasted for this thing. If him and his wife have a lovely life and she made dinner for him, hey, that's great, man. Everybody that's had a girlfriend or a wife or a fiance and she makes you dinner on a Sunday, hey, that's awesome. You know, God bless,
Absolutely.
much respect, all that stuff. However, we've all been involved with that woman. Sometimes it's long-term, sometimes it's short-term. And she can't cook.
Boy. I'm looking at this picture right now. Oh, my goodness.
And here's
that top it looks like an abandoned building.
There's only one thing worse than being involved with a girl who can't cook. And that's being involved with a girl who can't cook but thinks she can. Because she brings you endless plates of crap that you have to choke down and either smile and thank her for or date yourself. Those are your two options when you're with that girl. Myself. Now, Evan's wife apparently is a lovely woman, no disrespect to her, but she decides she hands him that tray of lasagna, again, quotes in italics, and he's so proud of it, he puts it out on Twitter, which, let's be honest, Twitter is like the DMZ of society, man. Anything goes. I've seen people rip little kids. I've seen people rip old people. I've seen people rip their own spouses and siblings. So he had to know on some level he was going to get roasted.
Yeah.
And Twitter did not fail him. He was beyond roasted. That guy was like incinerated, and then people relieved themselves on the ashes. They were just like,
yeah.
What are you doing here?
I'm going through the comments right now, and the first thing I see is a guy giving her advice. This is nice. He said, "Tell wifey to layer lasagna in this order." He gave her actually tips on how to cook it because it looks right. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like a building in foreclosure. The thing is, what lasagna should look like lasagna should look like a building. It should look like I call it almost like an apartment.
Yeah.
Like everything's layered.
No, it should. There should be structure to it.
No,
and
this top is horrendous.
I don't know if she didn't read the instructions on the box of noodles where they said to cook them first.
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's like a collection of noodles in various stages of being cooked. The ones on the top are raw and crunchy, right? But then if you look a little closer, some of them do have some softness to them. And I'm like, right. So you cooked half of these? And I'm trying to figure out, I'll tell you what impressed me about Jack Evans' wife's dish.
Yeah.
I've been in the food business for decades, right? I've judged competitions. I've been in competitions. I don't know how she got that lasagna to look that way. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's some kind of weird, like, cubist art painting in a lasagna tray. And I'm like, what did you do here? And it really does. I don't know if maybe the lasagna was like a little thin, so she added more stuff to it. And then the noodles didn't cook at the same time. But I did videos years ago where I showed people, hey, look, you can do lasagna real quick in a slow cooker. You can do lasagna real quick if you've got one of those electric kettles. You put the noodles in a pan. You know, you don't have to go through all the boiling. There are ways to do this that you can shortcut. And now, granted, it's not going to be the lasagna at, Ralph's Italian in Philadelphia on 9th Street. However, it'll be edible. And, it won't make your family, pull back. I looked at this thing, and I had newfound respect for Jack Evans, not as a pro wrestler, but as a man, as a human being. Because I'm going to tell you, my wife puts that on the table, I'm going to assume I got to move out.
Yeah. I'm
That's her telling me. That's her telling me.
Definitely not showing people.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, too. My wife serves me that. I kind of nod. I realize I got to pack my stuff and go, call my buddy, ask him to clean up a guest room for me so I can find a new place. Any of those things are fine. The one thing I'm not going to do is take a picture of it and show people on Twitter of all places, which is literally like the bad part of town. Hey, look at this divorced lasagna my wife serves me.
I mean, real quick, she should really be upset with him as a person because here's the deal. it's kind of like the old like booger in the nose theory. Like if I saw one of you guys walking around with a booger hanging out your nose, I'm gonna let you know because you're my friend. I want to protect you. This is his wife.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
you gotta tell her, hey, babe, listen, love you. This ain't it.
Yeah.
You can't let her walk around like that thinking she's like, Betty Crocker and this is what she's producing. Like this is terrible.
Oh, I hate to say it. It seems like I'm sort of zeroing in on Jack Evans, and maybe I am because I'm a wrestling fan. He's a wrestler, but it's not just me. Like Justin said, this thing is all over social media.
It is everywhere,
particularly on Twitter. Italians in general are like outraged. They're like, I think Jack Evans is from the UK. People are like, let's pull his passport so he can't get back into this country. And I'm like, all right, maybe that's a little extreme, but I get it. You know what I mean? This is like your culture.
Is from UK also?
That I don't know, and that's probably a really good question.
Maybe that's the problem.
I love the UK. British are lovely people, vacationing over there. Their food tends to be, let's put it this way. If you and I go over for shepherd's pie, it's delicious. Mm-hmm. We get a beer. It's a chilly night. We sit by the fireplace. We have the shepherd's pie. We're high-fiving each other like this was a good choice.
Yeah.
We decide to order pizza the next day. We messed up. It's not deep dish pizza. It's not Detroit pizza. It's not Jersey style pizza. It's some kind of weird version of like a Tombstone pizza. And I'm like, if that's the case, I'll just get Tombstone.
Right.
Don't charge me. Their idea of pizza a lot in the UK tends to be a lot of that Domino's, Papa John's, Little Caesars type of product. I don't want to use a more nasty word, but it's not to my liking. And most of the pizza people I know don't think much of it. And there's a lot of that in the UK. They try to cook Italian food. They try to cook what they call tacos or quesadillas. And every time they call it that, all I can think of is like, Napoleon Dynamite. I can't. When you guys don't even know how to say the word, I'm probably not going to eat it. And I think there might be a little bit of a case here where his wife, I understand not every wife has Italian DNA, and that's hard for us in this part of the country, right? Because if you live in the Northeast, there's a good chance your wife is some part of Italian and or some part Irish, somewhere in there, right? Everybody in America is a whole bunch of things, right? But if you did the 23andMe, somewhere in there, there's like Giuseppe on the family tree or, Seamus is on the tree somewhere. Right. And I think that's not the case for her. My guess is everybody on the case for her is from like Downton Abbey and Bridgerton. And there's like nowhere where she has any sort of ethnic touchstone.
Yeah. I'm disappointed in Jack here, man. As a husband, as a fiance, as a boyfriend, you got to be honest with your spouse. You got to be honest. You gotta be honest. I want them to be honest with me. Like, if don't pump me up and tell me something's great when it's not.
It's fine to gas up your significant other, right? And you should. They should be telling you, but within reason.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If my spouse told me my food is good, I'd be like, thanks. And I kind of know that was true, right? If she listened to my podcast and she said that was funny, I'd still know it was okay. If she saw me without my shirt and said I was chiseled, I'd be like, baby, let's be honest. I have one shape and it's round. You know what I mean? And I think this is that case here where it's great to tell your spouse they're smart, they're strong, they're tough, they're funny, they're sexy. Any of those things are fine, right? Yeah. When like you said, honesty is every relationship. I don't care if it's a friendship. I don't care if it's your parents. I don't care if it's whatever. When somebody puts that in front of you and you're like, good, let me throw that on social media, that's a fail.
Right.
That's a relationship fail. Yes, it is our food felony of the week. I've seen some other lasagnas that were bad this week. For some reason, they targeted lasagna. They really did. Or maybe it was like the social media algorithms. But I saw 4 or 5 lasagnas this week that brought tears to my eyes. Nothing came close.
To this.
Nothing came close to this Jack Evans lasagna. And like I said, beyond that, the guy's an amazing pro wrestler. Go check out his stuff.
I agree.
You can buy his merch online. I'm not trying to sandbag the guy, you know what I mean? But in this one instance, Jack has got to kind of take the shot here.
I agree. J. Cohl, obviously, We appreciate you always being on patrol and letting us know what's going on in the streets and the food felonies. Tell them where to find you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You can find me on Twitter at @J_Cohl, and that's assuming that Jack Evans in AEW doesn't have me pulled off by the end of the day. You can find me on Instagram at @JCohl. You can find me on Facebook at @JCohl. You can find me on some different podcasts like Calling the Small Bites, Dining on a Dime, of course, this one, the only one that matters. We'll probably try to put together a little something later in the year. So if people are listening to this and they don't listen as regularly as they should, check on back, because we're going to kind of put together some sort of, reaction video. We'll probably do some kind of record a segment by my Griddle poolside or whatever. I kind of have a few ideas of stuff to, make the summer a little bit more summer. Last summer, let's be honest, it wasn't the best for people, right?
No, it was not.
This year we're going to kind of, a poolside edition of Bradham and Emery in the morning probably work out not too bad.
Yeah, Justin and I have a summer tour of live shows we'll be getting to this summer. I'm sure at some point we're going to bring you out to have a little fun.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on.
No
Definitely.
problem.
Talk to you next week.
Take care, Susan. Talk to you guys next week.
Yes. J. Cohl brought to you by Beef Jerky Outlet in Langhorne. Again, 10% off online using the code BREMMY, BREMMY. Listen, man, I'm expecting to hear a curly story by next week from you.
So I will be there on Saturday.
Let me give you some advice, okay? Call in the morning, like they open at 11 a.m. Call right away. If you don't get through right away, don't give up. It might take you 10 to 15 minutes to get through. Place your order for that night. Tell them you're going to pick it up, I don't know when you need dinner, 5, 6, 7. Anytime you want to place it, do it then to give them time. And I promise you, my friend, you will not be disappointed.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I will be done. Like I said, I will be there Saturday as long as I guess I can get an order in.
All right, sounds good, man. But I want to get back into the Phillies.
Sure. Let's hit a break real quick.
All right, okay.
Hit a break. We'll come back. We're up against it with Twitty, so we'll have him on, and then after that, we'll get to back into the Phillies and pay homage to a legend.
Let's do it.
All right, Bradham Emery in the morning. Marques Bradham, Justin Emery. Be right back.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys today about my friends at Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream. USA Today selected Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream as the best ice cream parlor in Pennsylvania. Uncle Mike's is a family-owned and dedicated to the production of premium quality and gourmet ice cream and sorbet, made fresh daily on the premises using the highest quality ingredients available. Uncle Mike's features over 30 unique delicious flavors offered in scoops, sundaes, shakes, and special order ice cream cakes and pies. Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream is located at 537 York Road in Warminster and is open all year round. Visit Uncle Mike's and let their friendly staff serve you happiness one scoop at a time.
Hey, everybody. I want to tell you about Beef Jerky Outlet. 110 Lincoln Highway in Langhorne, right at the corner of Business Route 1 and Oxford Valley Road. Check them out online at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne. Use promo code BREMMY for 10% off your orders. You can check out, they have all sorts of them. Everything you could think of beef jerky, they have. They have a ton of other stuff too. Spices, barbecue sauces, peanuts, all different kind of things. My personal favorite, the honey barbecue turkey jerky. Head up there. Sharon and Michael will take great care of you. Again, use promo code BREMMY for 10% off your order at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys about my friends at Amy's Pizza. Amy has a plethora of pizzas for your munching pleasure, especially pizzas such as Hawaiian, margarita, and taco. Taco actually being my personal favorite. And also plenty more. If it's sandwiches you desire, they've got those too. Cheesesteaks, burgers, hoagies, even gyros. Amy's offers pickup and takeout options. Also, they're available on Grubhub. Amy's located at 332 York Road in the heart of Hatboro. You can call them today at 215-957-1000. Again, that's 215-957-1000.
And we back. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. Got my guy on the line, Twitty from the Twitty and the Brand podcast. Twitty, how are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, I'm living the dream. It's allergy season, and I can't breathe. What's happening?
I hear you. I actually just made a trip to see Rite Aid today, pick up my yearly subscription of Zyrtec.
Shout out to Uncle Rite Aid.
Mm-hmm.
I got my extra strength Claritin recently, and it is not working.
Oh, yeah, no. Luckily, the Zyrtec is hitting for me today. Necessary. But, yeah, no, I'm right there in the throes of it with you. I hear you loud and clear. What you been watching on TV, man? I'm very happy. I hit the Hulu DVR this week, poking around, and found out that one of my shows that that I'm grooving on just released the day before when I went looking, season 3, episode 1. So they have officially returned from their pandemic hiatus of recording, and that is Manifest.
You know what? You've just done something impressive. I've never even heard of that show.
Really?
100%. I got nothing on it. I assume it involves planes.
Yes. So I'll give you I'm get to break some news down for you now. All right. So it's I want to say it's an NBC show.
Wait, why don't I give you a hot mic about it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it. Because I can guarantee you won't get it right.
All right. Manifests. So I'm assuming that it's kind of like Lost, but there's a lot more planes. And this centers on some secretive government agency that's trying to figure out what's happening to all these planes. So they have to find all the manifests to figure out what the passengers have in common. And it's going to turn into some paranormal thing.
I'd say you're about 50 to 60% of the way there.
All right. I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, you have a lot of the base storyline. You're just missing some of the details through the
that secret sauce that makes it what it is.
Yeah. So Manifest, it is just one plane. Okay.
All right.
Flight 828, Montego Airways. It takes place that there is a plane flying back from, I believe, it's Jamaica to New York City. And it hits some severe turbulence on the way back. Like legendary turbulence on the way back.
Some Castaway level shenanigans.
Yes. When they land, they think everything's fine. They land, they're like, oh man, that was a rough flight. Thank God we're back in the United States. They're greeted on the runway by every alphabet agency the government has. The reason is because that plane apparently crashed 5 years earlier, and these people were just flying around for almost 6 years. But the people on the plane are unchanged. So the main characters are husband and wife, the husband's sister, and then their kids. They're the main people that are in the show's based around. However, the kids, he's got a son and a daughter, and they were twins. The daughter flew back with mom on a different plane. So when the show picks up, basically the first episode is the first half. The first half of the first episode is just the plane ride, and then you start learning about what happened, why they were in the air, and this guy who he had a twin sister. His sister's now like 5 or 6 years older than him. So the people on the plane, despite being gone for years, never aged.
Are you sure this sounds like it's a spin-off of Avengers? And I want to tell, I know you're not a Marvel guy, but in the last 2 Avengers movies, there's a 5-year gap where Thanos essentially snapped away half the people in the universe, and then they bring all these people back after 5 years. And like people have joked around, like, I just want to see like a sitcom or a dramedy about like these people having to adjust to life after being gone for 5 years. And it sounds like this is that show.
Now here's where it starts to get into the paranormal. Well, as if that wasn't paranormal enough for you. But they all get these visions. Now in the show they call them callings, but they're like visions that all of the people that were on that flight are now like telepathically connected and can kind of like they can feel each other's thoughts and emotions.
Little hive mind situation.
Now the guy's son, his name's is Cal on the show. He seems to be like the chosen one, like the Yoda. Like it seems to be the most sensitive of all of them.
Wait, what's the family's last name?
I don't remember.
Because if it starts with an L, that would mean the kid's name is Kal-El, aka Superman.
Let me pull it up right here while I'm talking to you about it. But so like I said, this was the first episode of season 3. Glad it's back. Were you a Gotham guy?
To an extent, I want to say it went off the rails a bit towards the end.
Yes,
it was never
thank
really
you.
on the
That's
rails.
that's exactly where I wanted to go with this.
Yeah.
Because I was real big into Gotham, and then it started to get a little wild.
Yeah.
And
But
when
it's like looking back, was it ever really on the rails to begin with? I feel like they made a compelling show at the cost of the entire Batman mythology.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I feel like season 3 though could potentially be a make or break season. Like it could go off the rails, or they could really, this could be a show that, because I believe it's only been set for 3 seasons, so they're fighting to be renewed, I believe.
What was season 3 of Gotham? Was that Azrael?
Well, I don't remember, to be honest.
Probably.
Stone. Last name is Stone in the movie. Ben Stone is the main character. His wife Grace, his sister.
My Superman theory is out the window.
Yes, yeah. His sister is a main character. Her ex-boyfriend and her current husband are both main characters. And I'm trying to think of who are some of the big actors. There's only really one big name person that I remember seeing in other things, and I can't remember what the actress's name is, but I've definitely seen her all over the place, including a ton of appearances on Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
So, come on, where is it at? Yeah, I can't find who it. Oh, here it is. It is what's her name? Elizabeth Marvel.
Don't know if I'm familiar with the name. It sounds vaguely familiar.
You would definitely, if you saw her, you would know her. You would know her without a doubt. You would know her without a doubt in the world, if you looked her up. But I would say,
yeah, she's in a million things.
Yeah, I would say she's probably the most recognizable character, or the most recognizable actor or actress in the show. A lot of the other people, I don't really recall seeing very much of. But
I think I mainly remember her from House of Cards, which was really good.
Yes, yeah, House of Cards. She was in Homeland. She's in Fargo. Yeah, if you ever noticed,
I was about to say the show or the movie, but that feels obvious.
Yes, yeah. So I definitely suggest checking it out if you got some time. I'm not gonna lie, the first 3-4 episodes, you kind of just got to power through them, and then after that, the storyline starts building on itself. I'm really worried it's going to get to, like I said, people are dying and then coming back, and I'm not down with that all the time.
I mean, look, these are the risks you run to make a successful television these days.
No, I hear you. For sure. So that was my very long-winded opening to what we're streaming. So what have you got for us?
Well, I got a few picks for you, so I'll run through them real quick. I got 2 things on Hulu. First up, this isn't exactly new, but I happened to catch that they added it recently, and that's What About Bob, starring Bill Murray. Absolute classic and a criminally underrated movie. And also on Hulu on the documentary side, I think I might have mentioned this last week, but it was before it dropped, and now I've gotten to watch it. That's WeWork, or The Making and Breaking of a $47 Billion.
How was that?
It was fantastic, and I knew that the biggest issue was they were setting money on fire at an outrageous rate, but it got a little weird in the middle,
Okay. Good.
It got a little, like, I don't want to say culty, but like it seemed like it was about to take that right turn for a while. Like if they hadn't run out of money, I think it would have become a cult eventually.
Are you familiar with what? Obviously, you watched it, but like, have you ever been in a WeWork? Are you familiar with them?
Well, yeah, so I won't say who, but the company I work for in we'll say my Bruce Wayne, Peter Parker life, we had a pretty large business relationship with WeWork. And there are several blink and you'll miss it references to us in the documentary. But yeah, we were one of their very expensive amenities that they had set up that made them constantly spend way too much money.
Yeah, I believe they just got bought I'd say within like the last month or two, I believe, because I believe the CEO got ousted.
He got ousted. I want to say it was this time last year. It was like right before.
Oh, it was that long ago?
Yeah, and then the new guy, for a while, he like completely cut off the spending and tried to like refocus to their core buildings and like get out of the
February. Okay,
they were trying to start.
Yeah, no, yeah, I see it. February, the new CEO.
He thought they were going to achieve profitability this year, but that sounded pretty ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, they're fighting to get an IPO, and with
that's what brought them down the first time. They couldn't keep lying about their figures when they got prepared for the IPO.
Yeah, no, with the new, I'm got it pulled up in front of me, just scanning real quick. The new CEO looks like he don't play games.
I bet, like they weren't going to screw their chance up to get somebody quality in there.
Well, I believe Adam was the original CEO, right?
Yes, he's I would say the very central character in the documentary.
So I'm pulling up his background real quick.
Adam Newman.
Yeah, he just looks like he doesn't look like he just is a business guy. Like, it looks like he, nothing fancy about his background. However,
it's funny, going on early, they bring up like some of his early ideas before WeWork, and one of them was sweatpants with knee pads for babies. And they were just like, yeah, what he didn't realize is babies have been crawling around for 10,000 years without them, and they've been fine.
Yeah. They the new CEO though has an extensive, decades-long career in real estate, and that's the kind of person you need, because WeWork is a kind of like what was it, the McDonald's guy, Ray Kroc. The guy was like, "You're not in the burger industry; you're in the real estate industry."
Yeah, and WeWork acted like they were a tech company for a few years.
Yeah, no, they're a real estate company.
Exactly.
And having a high-end commercial real estate developer as your CEO, I actually really like what I think WeWork is going to do. But I'm definitely going to dive into this. I'm glad that you checked it out and that you gets the Twitty stamp of approval. And
yes, it was
what platforms is on?
That's on Hulu.
Hulu. I watched your recommendation from the other week.
Which one?
The Blockbuster one.
Oh, it was awesome, right?
Yeah, it went a little long. I started losing my attention a little bit.
The end drags because like they really hammer the point home about how famous this manager of the last one has gotten.
Yeah, it was a little towards the end of it. I was like, okay, it was getting. I wanted it to wrap it up.
But then once you really start saying that, you get the Doug Benson walking around in there stoned as could possibly be bit, and that makes it more
love it. I will have to go to Oregon next time I am out on the West Coast.
Dude, I want to make a pilgrimage. I found remember the part where the chick's like making all the merch for the store, like the knit hats and t-shirts? I found the website where she sells them, and I'm waiting for the hats to restock.
Okay.
I want one, man.
I'm as you're saying that, I'm looking up where to find it. So, T Public has some Blockbuster stuff up there.
I want to get it from her though.
Yeah, and I'll get you. It's not obviously it's knockoff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, technically, even the stuff she's making is knockoff.
Whoa, is it benblockbuster.com?
Yeah, that's it. Because it's in Bend, Oregon.
Okay, so I'm sure you've seen the Blockbuster and Chill.
Wait, I don't think that was on there when I looked.
Oh, it's the first one, Blockbuster and Chill, Be Kind, Rewind.
Hold up. Wait, I see. I love that there are new releases on there. They completely redid their website since the last time I was on it, which was like a week ago. Oh, I see now. Okay. Yeah, those must be new.
Yo, I definitely need a pair of the Blockbuster sunglasses.
These socks are kind of hot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm definitely buying some stuff off of here. I'm closing this tab, putting it to the side, and I will be checking that out post show. No doubt about it.
Justin's about to drop $150 on Blockbuster merch.
Yeah. Oh, I'm about to be featured in their next
Oh my
documentary.
God, they'll mail me a membership card, dude.
Yeah, I might buy one of everything. I'm not even lying. Like I said,
this is awesome.
Putting the tab to the side. We'll be checking that out post show. You can bank on that. You got any other streaming suggestions for
just
us?
two quick ones. I think I might have touched on them previously, but there's new episodes. That'd be Invincible on Amazon Prime, their new animated, adult animated superhero show, which has been really good so far. From the creator of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman. They dropped the 4th episode, and we'll get another one this Friday. And then also just something that the newest episode was really good and just like really started to pay off the premise of the series. And that's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We got a lot of Baron Zemo in this latest episode, and it's everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah, that show is hot all over Twitter right now.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, that show's all over my timeline.
It's getting to people quicker than WandaVision did because it's more like standard Marvel action movie content, whereas that one, WandaVision, was more like experimental.
I'll take your word for it because I have no personal experience with it.
Missing out, brother.
That's fine. I mean, it probably one day I'll sit down and I'll just dive into all of it. I don't know when, but one day I will. Now, I'm just scrolling through real quick because something that you said caught my attention in regards to what was it? Was it the Falcon and the
Winter Soldier? Yeah,
somebody had a tweet. I'm seeing if I can find it real quick while we're talking about it. Somebody had a tweet about it that I was dying.
Does it involve the gif of Daniel Bruhl dancing in the club? Because it's my favorite thing ever.
Yes, I'm sure you've seen the tweet then.
It's so goddamn good.
Okay, yeah, so you've seen it then. And that has been Twitty's streaming suggestions. So definitely go check it out. Go check out Manifest if you got some time. Blacklist, I think I might be out on Blacklist.
Oh, he's out.
I've missed too many. And
oh yeah, because you're still having that on-demand issue, really, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. So I've missed too many, and I think that one of the characters, I believe the actress, didn't want to be on the show anymore. Now, this is just me speculating. I have no proof of this, but one of the main characters has not been at all in this entire season, and you don't take a main character out of a season unless something is wrong with the actual actor or actress.
It's not a great sign, that's for sure.
And because all of her scenes are clearly pre-shot, like they shot this, to put into this place here.
Just feels like it can be inserted anywhere.
Yes, and she's always being referenced to, and they ran a simulation of it with her the one time.
Uh-huh.
So, I have no research done on this. I also probably won't do any research, but that's my takeaway is that I think that one of the main characters, the actress, is just out, which doesn't make sense because I've never seen her anywhere else. And you're on your 8th season. This show made your career. Why would you just bounce? But
right.
Just,
and I commend you because I'll say the best way to prove your theories correct is to not do follow-up research.
Mm-hmm.
This helps.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. This is usually a no-note segment. No-note segment. But tinfoil hat time?
Put it on, baby.
All right. You guys know what it is. Brings it to us every week and never disappoints. we've got Twitty's Conspiracy Theory.
A lot of the millennial population, like Justin and myself, grew up on the cusp of the analog to digital transition. We have distinct memories of getting about 60 channels on cable. But due to seemingly unexplainable comments on Reddit and Twitter, for some time I've been wondering why one channel in particular was always missing, no matter what kind of TV setup someone had, at least in the pre-digital era. This is the missing Channel 37. As a man who spends a lot of time on the internet, even I sometimes come across bits that I don't have an explanation for, and it infuriates me. Many of these were offhanded references to Channel 37, and that we weren't allowed to have one because of aliens, which, frankly, I had no background information to even understand the point of the bit. But it turns out that's not entirely false. In the early days of the 50s, the FCC opened up television broadcasters' right to use UHF, or ultra-high frequency signals. In this action, the total number of available TV frequencies shot up overnight from 108 to 2,051. This posed some difficulties for a radio telescopic observatory based in Danville, Illinois. The telescope operated a bandwidth area of 608 to 614 megahertz, which fell right at good old Channel 37. It was quickly becoming a hot commodity as different regional and national broadcasting companies rose to power. The problem lied in the fact that if any TV stations set up shop in the 37 zone and they were within the 600-mile radius of Danville, they would interfere with the radio research that the observatory was doing. Think about that size. That's the length of the Mississippi in the center of the country. Cities that fall into that zone include Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, DC, and Pittsburgh, all of them deprived of good old Channel 37. Scientists rallied to lobby for the FCC to prevent anyone from broadcasting on it for years, only earning temporary stays and injunction orders. But the public perception turned, and the FCC stopped issuing licenses to anyone inside the 600-mile zone, and eventually pretty much everywhere. In the history of analog broadcasting, only 18 licenses were ever accepted for 37, and none ever aired programming. Many other countries never issued the channel in an early showbiz superstition. But why did we need to keep those frequencies open? The entire field of radio telescopes comes from a happy accident in 1931, when an engineer named Carl Jansky was trying to figure out where some static interfering with radio waves was coming from. He figured out that it had an extraterrestrial source, and it was at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. To this day, we're still discovering radio signals from the center of our galaxy. Some explainable, some not so much, but it's sure a lot easier to research potential aliens now that analog is dead and Channel 37 can live its best life.
So I'm going to need you to expand upon it a little bit. Why is there no 37?
So the specific frequencies that make up what would have been Channel 37 on old UHF broadcasting channels are the exact frequencies that this radio telescope needs to have unfettered access to in order to process, record, and try to make sense of these radio frequency bursts from the center of our galaxy.
Now, does that still stand to this day?
Now that we're broadcasting digitally, we're not using those UHF fields anymore, so it's become irrelevant now.
Gotcha. Okay, that was the part that I wasn't quite.
But it's like that.
I was gonna say I have Channel 37 right now. I can promise you that.
Yeah, because they're not using those frequencies.
Okay,
and even
gotcha.
in like the days before they fully switched over, you started seeing some 37s, but they would just be putting like a digital figure signal over top of that frequency.
That's crazy. So
yeah, and
no
it's
Channel
like people
37.
saying it was because aliens sounds like such a bit, but it's kind of true in a weird way.
There's certain social media sites where they would be like, well, Q's the 37th letter of the alphabet.
Is that true? I don't want to do the math.
No, there's 26 out. There's 26 letters.
Oh yeah, I didn't even...
You want to know what's funny? You a Saturday Night Live guy?
To an extent. I won't say I watch it all the time anymore. I usually just wait for the best clips.
Speaking my language, I was about to say all I do is wait for the best stuff. No, they went in on a certain Florida congressman this weekend.
Mr.
Yes.
Gates.
Yes. And I believe the exact line was, the Q people are asking you not to jump to conclusions and believe everything you read on the internet. After all, he was accused of being with a 17-year-old, and Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet, so he has to be innocent.
Jeez.
I was like, oh.
It's good writing. I want to know who wrote that sketch.
It was Twitty was on point, man.
That's fantastic.
So, what you got on the podcast this week?
So I want to say I'm very happy we're doing this, because the only reason I convinced Bran to do it was because he didn't have another movie ready and selected for the end of the episode, so I snuck this one in under the radar.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about a little Legendary Pictures Smash 'em Up feature called Godzilla vs. Kong.
Oh, big hot all over the timeline right now.
Justin, let me ask you: have you seen it yet?
Have not.
No, right?
Nope.
Are you Team Godzilla or Team Kong?
Man, it's like asking me to choose between my children. Probably Godzilla. No. Yeah, yeah. If I can only choose one, I gotta go Godzilla.
You have to go Godzilla.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm very confident in saying this because the evidence is out there on Twitter from before the movie was out. Fervent Team Godzilla supporter. He's got atomic bomb breath. Like, it's him versus an oversized gorilla. Come on now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Brand picked Team Kong, and I was so happy that he did that before he watched it, because Kong just gets the work put on him.
Not what you want to hear. Definitely not what you want to hear. I mean, just like you said, how can you go against Godzilla?
Atomic bomb flame breath. Like, it's not going to work out for Monk.
Who won?
Well, there's 3 fights, and Godzilla won 2 of them, in my opinion. And in my opinion, it's objective. There's no question.
For sure. Yeah, of course.
I will not comment on the 3rd fight for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, because it's probably the only thing that you could say would be a reveal.
Fair enough. Love it. Let everybody know where to follow you at.
Be sure to check me out on Twitter and IG at Ultron1321. Be sure to follow the show at Twitty and Bran on Twitter, at Twitty and the Bran on IG, and be sure to like us on Facebook.
Love it. Before we get you out of here, I actually have one more question for you.
Lay it on me.
Has anyone won your Twitter name contest yet?
Well, I had one person who got it right, but it's literally a friend who's been on the show multiple times. So I was like, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Okay, everybody here, listen up. Okay, listen up here. Okay, at Ultron1321. If you add him with the first person who has the correct answer, as of what was it?
Twitter
the
handle
exact
is
movie?
referring to a specific version of Ultron.
Yes.
And I would like a succinct summary of it.
Okay, the first person that does that, and he lets me know that they did it, gets a free Twitty's Conspiracy Theory shirt from our friends over at TeePublic. So whoever gets that, the first person, he can confirm that it is correct. He will let me know. I will gather your contact information, and I will send you a free hoodie of. I'll send you a T-shirt because it's getting warmer out. The hoodie's going to end up going in the closet soon.
It is T-shirt time.
It is T-shirt time.
And with that, you'll also have a little comic package coming from your pal Twitty.
So there you go. You heard that. You'll get a free shirt, Twitty's Conspiracy Theories, and some comics. Comic package from your man right here. The first person who gets it right. So at Ultron1321, he will let me know. Thanks for jumping on here again, and as always, we'll talk to you next week.
Always a pleasure. Take it easy.
Twitty, always with some crazy theories, making everyone's hair stand on their necks.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because think about it. When you remember when you were little, scrolling through, you had to click all the different buttons. You didn't have the cable box. You had to go through the different channels on the TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you had to walk to it.
Yeah. So I don't really remember it, but I guess according to it, there was no channel 37. I mean, I get, it makes sense.
I remember the wooden box.
Yes.
The wooden cable box, the old school when they had like Prism.
Yes.
The old school wooden box you had to walk to, and then like if you were like, old enough, like 11, 12 years old, you would get prison with scramble. They go to the stuff you're not supposed to be seeing, and you were lucky to see a boob for half a second.
Oh yeah. Or
You're like, yeah, boob.
Or do you remember way back in right when they had Snoop Dogg as their spokesman, when at like 11 o'clock at night, like the Girls Gone Wild commercial would come on?
Yeah. I remember the Girls Gone Wild commercials. Oh, yeah.
You heard the music and you just knew what was happening.
That man, by the way, is loaded. Like, he is one of, like...
Snoop?
Like, what's that?
Snoop?
No, the Girls Gone Wild guy.
Oh, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I forget his name, but, I mean, the money he made off that franchise is insane. But I want to get into the Phillies.
Yeah.
Back to the Phillies real quick.
Yes, talk to me. Red October.
Listen, this is nitpicking. I know right now this is nitpicking, and I understand that right off that what I'm about to say. And it's only really important 2 times: opening day and when the playoff comes. But I'm projecting forward. I thought the Phillies have a good shot to make the playoffs, and I want them to do this right.
Of course.
I look at Aaron Nola, and I don't want to say disparaging things about Aaron Nola, because I like Aaron Nola a lot. I think Aaron Nola is really, really good. And I'm a little old school when it comes to baseball, where I don't like my ace to be a finesse pitcher. And even though Nola can get his fastball up to like 94, he's typically in the 92, 93 range. And, let's be honest, his best pitches are his breaking balls.
Yeah.
His curveball, I know he worked on a cutter.
What's the issue with that? Because Cole Hamels was not a flamethrower. His best pitch was his world-class changeup.
You're right, but that's the misconception about Cole Hamels. Is Cole Hamels?
I mean, don't get me wrong, he could get it up to 95, 94, 95, 96.
Hamels can hit 96 on you. He wasn't. Now his changeup was so devastating. Like I've said this before in the show. If you go back to his scouting report when he first was coming up,
I've seen it before.
It literally said if Cole Hamels told you he was throwing you a changeup, you still couldn't hit it. That's how devastating. That's one of the his changeup is like a Smithsonian style pitch. It's one of those pitches that's like Hall of Fame level pitch. I don't know that Aaron Nola's breaking balls are that good.
No, I don't think that they are.
Yeah, I think they're really good. I don't think they're that good. I believe personally, Aaron Nola is a very, very good number 2 pitcher. I don't believe Aaron Nola is their ace.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that statement, because I feel the same way. I feel like he would be.
But I also believe the ace on the staff. I think it's Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler is the guy to me I want pitching game 1 of a series, not Aaron Nola. I want Aaron Nola at 2.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You look at Zach Wheeler, his stuff is dominant. And he has what I would call, and I'm making this up, I call it an easy fastball. Where it looks like he's playing catch with his son in the backyard, and you look at the gun is 98. Like his throwing motion is just that easy looking, where it looks like he's not throwing hard at all, but he's bringing it not consistently, 98, 99, 97. That's what I want as my ace. I like guys like that. I like guys that go out there and you are intimidated to face them. It's intimidating to have them as their game 1 starter. I don't think Aaron Nola is that guy. And again, I don't want to get too much into being disparaging about him, but let's be honest. Over the past couple of years, when there's been any kind of big money game, you really haven't gotten a lot out of 27. You haven't. He actually had 2 years in a row, really bad Septembers. We can go back to his last start of the season last year, where the Phillies still had, no pun intended, a ray of hope going into that Tampa Bay series, and Nola gets shelled. He gives you basically nothing. There have been starts throughout the last 2, because the last 2 years the Phillies kind of been flirting with a playoff spot, and Nola's had some big starts, and more often than not, it hasn't turned out well. So all of those things being considered, I don't want Aaron Nola being the number 1 for this team. Now, it doesn't matter. We're in game 4, 158 games left of the season. From now until the season's over, it doesn't matter who pitches what day. Number one starter only matters opening day and game one of the playoffs and throughout the playoffs.
Yes.
Doesn't matter after that. So
I mean,
this isn't a problem now.
by the second or third month of the season, everything's mixed up anyway.
Exactly. So this isn't a problem now. But and like I said, I know I'm nitpicking, but I'm looking forward and projecting that this team could be in the postseason. I want to see Zach Wheeler get the ball game one.
I mean, I would say that I guess let it play out during the course of the year. Like, what if Aaron Nola outplays him this season?
I still want, because I've seen, listen, Nola has put up, don't get it twisted. Aaron Nola has put up over the past couple of years ace numbers. Like I think not last year, because last year, 60.
But you know how some pitchers just come into a season different? Like you just know, all right, this is this guy's season. Like Max Scherzer in 2019. I think he averaged 11 strikeouts a game. You just, like, he was, like, you went into it knowing, all right, he's going to fan at least 10 in 7 innings.
Right.
So some guy, like, what if, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just posing the hypothetical to you. What if Nola has one of those? What if it comes in and we just see his off-speed stuff becomes world-class?
Ask me that in September. If Aaron Nola is lights out in September,
I'm in with everything you said. I agree with you. I'm just posing the other side to you. That what if during the course of the year, by the time the playoffs come, Nola has outplayed Wheeler?
If he's lights out in September, and he has a really good month September, okay, let's see what the kid's got in the playoffs. Like, I think we both can agree, while we believe the Phillies can make the playoffs this year, this isn't World Series or bust. So let's see what you got.
Yeah, I agree.
I look at the same way with Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin is, we don't know. We have no idea. He looked really good on Sunday, and he has had times where he's looked really good. But we don't know what Zach Eflin is. We have no idea. And if you're going to be successful in the playoffs, we all know how it goes. You need 3 starters.
Yes.
And Eflin has to be that third guy. We have no idea though if he is or not. So
I will say
for him, also the same wait and see.
The 2 most important players on this team are Zach Eflin and Bryce Harper. If Bryce Harper has MVP Bryce that we think we signed, and I don't like this is again nitpicking because I think he's had good seasons. I don't think he's had a great season since he's been with the Phillies. So
I would agree.
So if we get MVP Bryce and Eflin shades more towards Nola and Wheeler versus 4 and 5,
right?
Then we're looking at beyond just a wild card. We could be looking at a division title.
I agree with what you said. I need from Bryce, I need that average to climb up a little bit. Like, I'm okay with the home runs and the RBIs in the past 2 years. I'm going to need more of that average. We can't be sitting 230, 240.
No, I need him around
272.
I was going to say I need him at 270, 38 at least. I need him at like 270, 38, and 110.
Yes. I think looking at this contract, 13 years, we're in year 3 of the 13 years. I think it's fair to ask for 3 to 4 MVP type years out of him.
I mean, this is season age 28 for him. He is in his physical prime.
Yes.
So
I think 3 to 4 type MVP seasons, and then about another 4 to 5 really good number seasons.
Yes, and
that's what I need out of him for this to be worth it.
And hopefully, the NL will come around and get the DH.
Yes.
During his contract, because he would age fantastic into a DH.
Yeah, I worry. I'll say this about Bryce Harper. I worry about what that swing will be at 37 years old.
Yeah.
His swing is so violent. It's so he swings with his entire body.
Yes.
And I worry how that looks at 36, 37 years old. Like, he's and it's weird because he's a lefty, and usually with lefties they have such sweet looking swings. Like, everyone wants to swing lefty because lefty swings always look so pretty. Bryce Harper's swing is not pretty at all. It's violent, it's angry, it's aggressive.
It is.
And that's the one thing I'm concerned about now. You bring up the DH, and if you get the DH out of him, then I like it because that's all he's doing.
Yes.
In the back can rest, which is good. But that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, as I said, give me 3 or 4 MVP style seasons. Give me 4 or 5 really good seasons, and this deal has been worth it. But I agree with you. Zach Eflin, to me, definitely is a huge part of this puzzle of what he actually is. We don't know. We have no idea.
But they need to go out.
He really is.
They need to have a strong season up until the trade deadline and show Middleton and I think his name is Dombrowski.
Yes, Dombrowski.
Yeah, show the two of them that no, be buyers, don't be sellers.
Right. I'm not too worried. Matt Moore and Chase Anderson is just like, go out there, please just don't get shelled in the first.
I mean,
game.
I don't know
that's
who
your
those.
job.
I don't like. It's way too early to make assessments about who could be trade deadline acquisitions, but you want to be buyers, not sellers. And I think that I know everything that the owner said, and I think that he put his foot in his mouth with a lot of stuff that he said because he didn't expect the reaction that he would get from some of that.
Yes.
And
I think he underestimated, and I don't know why he would, because he was here doing that run.
Yeah.
So I think he underestimated how much this town loves baseball.
Yes. And when you bring in the players like Bryce, like JT, like your Wheeler, you have guys that came through your farm system like Hoskins, like Bohm, like Nola. You have a manager like Joe Girardi, champion as a manager, champion as a player. I mean, I think that I know he's made so many different comments about going over the luxury tax that I don't know if he is or isn't against it because he's flip-flopped so many times that I can't tell. But if they're staring down at a potential playoff or NFC East title, you've got to show him, hey, pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Money ain't a thing if it's going to bring a ring, okay? Like
facts only. We had Twitty on earlier for conspiracy. I'll throw it out real quick to you. I look at the way everything happened in the offseason with the Phillies and all the JT stuff. Are they going to re-sign him? Are they going to trade Zach Wheeler? And you bring up the comments that Middleton was making, and everything was trending to all of those things. This team kind of being blown up. The whole comment about him losing money last year and they can't go out and they're not a big market team and all that stuff. I just wonder if the backlash from the fan base made him reconsider all those things. And also think maybe, hey.
If he didn't want to go for a long time, it was a race between him and Josh Harris as to which owner was worse.
Yes.
Then Middleton was like, hold my beer.
Right. So, I wonder if he heard the backlash and how everyone reacted.
How could you not? How could you not?
Not signing JT, trading Zach Wheeler, all of this stuff. And also, too, listen, we said about the Eagles, right? We have no idea what really took place behind the scenes of how they really felt as an organization about Carson Wentz. Don't put it past Bryce Harper to call Milton. Hey, listen, I signed here based on the agreement that you guys said you were going to be competitive. So
I believe
you're playing,
I believe the quote was "stupid money." Was that what it was?
Right. Yep. That was the quote. If you're planning not to do that, then I don't want to be here.
Yeah. Trade me.
Yeah. So
I will not show up.
Regardless of what happened, I'm glad they decided to re-sign JT. That was a huge component. Bring in a guy like Archie Bradley, and that's another thing too. Before we get out of here, real quick, the bullpen, it can't be any worse than it was last year.
Last year that's exactly what I said.
Historically bad.
That's exactly what I said on the show yesterday. I said, even if they
We've never seen anything like that before.
As long as they have a bad bullpen, they will make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep.
The only thing that will stop them from making the playoffs is if they have the worst bullpen of all time, which,
Yes.
ironically, they had last season.
Right.
Now,
And I also go ahead.
No, I was going to say, did you hear the stat about the bullpen?
This year or last year?
Comparing the two.
I don't think so. Go ahead.
So last year, the Phillies won a total of 1 game when the starter came out with the tie game.
Wow.
This year, they won 2 against the Braves alone.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable how bad that bullpen was.
Was it 0-0 last night when they pulled the starter?
2-0.
It was 2. Okay, I thought it was 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah,
things were starting to get ugly for Matt Moore out there.
Yeah, so they've already won 2 games this year in the same set.
I mean, I look at a guy, but I feel like, while we're, like I said before we get out of here, Hector Neris is a guy that I think has a bad reputation for no reason. I think people are a little harder on him than they should be. I think people associate him. The one thing I will say about Hector Neris is this guy is always ready to pitch. Like, he goes 3 innings on a Tuesday.
The thing is,
he's ready to go on a Wednesday.
A lot of the thing about Hector Neris, the negativity, in my opinion, towards him, is that his name is very synonymous with Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because Gabe, he was a Gabe guy, and people just don't like Gabe.
And Gabe didn't use him right.
Yes.
Like Gabe, like Hector Neris clearly should have been the closer, and is the closer, but Gabe was moving. I bring in the closer. The most important. I thought the 7th inning was the most important time. I thought the 5th inning was the most important time. No, Gabe, the closer pitches the 9th, maybe the 8th, but that's it. And he had Hector all over the place. And I think it's a great point. I think you're right. I think the Gabe Kapler fatigue is the reason why a lot of people don't like Hector Neris. But I'm here to tell you, Hector Neris is going to make you happy more often than not.
Fair enough.
I mean, he's at, I think his save percentage since he's been here is 80-85%.
I have no clue.
It's somewhere in that ballpark. I know it's somewhere around there, 80-85%. But I mean, listen. All I'm saying is, like I said about the Sixers when we last time I was on here, let's enjoy this, man. Let's enjoy these things. Enjoy it. Be happy. Be joyous. You have a baseball team that's 4-0. Enjoy it. Sixers playing Celtics tonight. Big game. Big week for the Sixers. We'll get into a lot of them tomorrow.
Be diving in all that tomorrow. Got another Phillies game tomorrow.
From the showdown at the Wells Fargo Center.
Yes. I, along with everybody else listening, welcome you back into the saddle.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
And we'll be back tomorrow. Sixers, Phillies, bunch of other topics as usual. And let it be music to the listeners' ears. Give us the sound off.
You with us? You be against us? But you're never going to stop us. Late.